It is 8:01, and we are going to talk tonight about responding to objections. Tell me, how do you feel when you have an objection or a concern, or maybe you'd call it an obstacle? What would you call it? Anyone want to share? Hi, Christine. How are you?
Good. Hi.
Good. Hi. We're just starting. And I'm asking, how do you feel when you get an objection, or you know, does it bother you?
Oh, I thought I lost you.
Oh, no.
I mean, I guess it depends. I guess it depends on how stern they are. Like if they're like inanimate, no, how dare you ask me, what are you doing? You know.
You're not just gonna say yes.
That puts me off a little bit.
Yeah.
But you know, the no, not right. That doesn't bother me. I'll keep at them because I was always like that.
Yeah. Well, you know, objections can be one of the most frustrating parts of the sales process, if you will, especially until you become comfortable and confident on your ability to respond to them. You know, I don't know, have you noticed that sometimes you hear the same ones kind of over and over again?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm too busy. I don't have time.
Okay. Anyone else want to share? What are some of the obstacles that you hear? Oh, you guys, this is going to be much more fun if you guys interact. Come on.
I don't have the money right now.
I don't have the money. Okay. You're talking about recruiting. Okay.
Yeah.
You know, it's important to remember that responding to objections is not the way to convince someone to buy or to host or to join our team. You don't talk them into buying, booking, or becoming a consultant. Your objection is to help them find a solution to their concern. In fact, would you agree that concern and hesitations really are different words than objection? You know, because they kind of accurately describe what's happening in your prospect's mind or who you're talking to's mind, right? So there's one main reason why people hesitate when making a decision of any kind, because they're not really certain that the benefits outweigh the risks. There are other ways of saying this are either not sure the rewards will be greater than the cost, they're afraid that more bad will occur than good, they're not confident that they can do what it takes to get the positive result they want. And don't you think that a lot of times they're not confident that they can do what it takes to get a positive result? Don't you think that's true? Mm-hmm. Especially when it comes to being a consultant?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So let's talk about some benefit versus risk concerns. And it might be something, and this is just an example, but you know, someone who has never been, never bought stoneware before or never used stoneware before, they might be concerned that their family won't think the pizza or whatever they cooked was any better than it would be on a cookie sheet, on a metal cookie sheet. Someone who hesitates to book a party may not understand that the host rewards will outweigh the inconvenience of getting your house clean, getting your husband and kids out of the house, and making your friends feel obligated to attend. So when someone feels this uncertainty, or maybe it's even downright fear, they will say no and give either a specific concern or a general stall. And here's what I mean by a specific concern or a general stall. Specific concerns might be some of the things you've already mentioned. I don't have the money. I don't know how to sell. I don't know enough people to host a cooking show, or I don't know how to cook. Some stalls might be, and I'll bet you've heard these, I want to think it over. I want to discuss it with my husband. I want to ask my husband's permission. Don't get me started on that. Christine, I saw your face. Billy Joe? Hi, Kimberly. Glad you could join us tonight. or I'm too busy to decide right now. So when these things happen, your job, and you know, when I first started with Pampered Chef, I would shut down. You know, I would really, and that's probably more the timid part. You know, it's where we're kind of timid with our business because we don't want to seem pushy. But you need to learn to uncover the real concern. Like, how about an onion? Have you noticed how many layers are in an onion? You just peel them back one at a time, right? So, and that's where you start a conversation and perpetuate the conversation by asking questions. So you look at those stalls one at a time. And really, the stall is not a concern. For instance, my favorite is, I need to ask my husband. That's usually a stall because really most of us don't ask our husbands, right? You know, that's probably not the truth. So very often, what you're hearing is not the really real reason. And as you ask questions, and you say, well, what would happen if your husband, what would it take to convince your husband that this is a great business? A lot of times husbands like to see paychecks, you know, those kinds of things. But handle each concern or a stall one at a time, because you may need to talk through a couple of them before the most important one surfaces. Now, there's really 4 simple steps to respond to concerns. Number 1 is stay calm. And, you know, for me, and that was an important step for me because I used to kind of get an attitude, you know, like, what do you mean, you know? I'm offering you the best thing since sliced bread. But be thankful when someone expresses a concern because it means they're interested enough to continue talking with you. If you listen carefully, their concerns will help you identify their primary needs, and that will guide you to help them find a solution to their concern. And I'm going to tell you, when I think about my friend Marna Ross, and I watch her, and I have watched her several times do live parties where she recruits people right at the party, that's exactly what she does. She gets to the nitty-gritty of how Pampered Chef will complete their life, if you will, and she, you know, hones in on it and she connects it, and then they're like, well, yeah, I can do that. You know, for instance, a nurse might be in the audience and she goes, hey, are there any Pampered Chef people, you know, that sell at your hospital? Well, no, you could just be our hospital representative, you know. So she shows them how that would work. Anyway, so that's what happens when you peel back the onion. But expect concerns, hesitations. It's a normal part of the selling process, or even, if you will, the communication process. Be prepared. And again, I mentioned a little bit earlier, we talked that you hear the same concerns all the time. And what happens is, the first time you probably say, man, I wish I would have handled that better, right? Has that ever happened to you? You think something happened, you think, oh, I wish I would have handled that better? Or I wish I would have said this? I'm not saying.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, so what happens is you can think about that and think, oh, well, I can do this better the next time. And that's what experience. I mean, that's what experience is. Don't forget, let the person talk. Don't interrupt. Try not to think about what you're going to say once they finish talking. Listen to what they're saying. So, you know, count to 5 sometimes before you begin to speak. And again, ask them, you know, tell me more about that. You know, if somebody says something outrageous, like, I don't have enough time, well, I'm really happy you could be here at the party tonight. You know, glad you could make it. What about this business do you think takes so much time? That kind of thing. And again, it's just asking questions to perpetuate the situation. So that's some of the tips there. Now, we're going to talk about what we call CHEF, and it's an acronym. CHEF means check for understanding. C is check for understanding. Stay calm. I'm using the wrong acronym. Stay calm. Calm is check for understanding. A is acknowledge their feelings. We're going to talk about that. R is respond with clarifying questions and information. And then E is extend the invitation. So it's caring about responding. Now, I really like this a lot because I don't know about you, but I'm not sure we always really learn as kids how to communicate. I mean, sometimes communication is really hard, isn't it? In fact, don't you think communication is one of the harder things in life? Bianca, hi Bianca, I know you talk about the 5 love languages, and that really helps with with communication and knowing what the people in your life, their preferences. So, so what you want to do is be respectful by checking for understanding. And I'm going to give you an example. When I first started with Pampered Chef, we would say, well, if you can open up a can of crescent rolls, you trained, right? So if someone said to me, well, I couldn't do what I did, we know what you do, I would respond by saying, oh, if you can open up a can of crescent rolls, you're okay, right? It kind of sounds like an okay answer, right? Nobody's saying right. You probably know better. But
yes, I got to have you muted.
Oh, it's okay.
The 4-year-old is still up.
Yeah, I see. Almost everybody's muted. So what happens is when you check for understanding, like when someone says, I don't have enough time to host, you might say, gosh, it really sounds like you're a busy person. Are you concerned that you wouldn't have enough time to put on a good show? You know, and they would say, yeah, that's true. So what you've done is you've checked to understand, or they might say, well, no, that's not what I'm really worried about. So that's, you check for understanding. And again, that's a very polite step instead of just flippant saying, you know, a response. I don't know enough people to invite. You might say something that, it sounds like you're concerned the party might not be a success. So those are the ways you can check for understanding. And they would say, yes, that's exactly what I mean, or no, they wouldn't. And again, you know, you would go back and forth with those concerns. The next thing is to acknowledge their feelings. And, you know, this is a really important step that, you know, I used to always miss. Once you've checked for understanding and they've confirmed that concern, you want to show respect for their feelings. And to show respect is by saying something like, I know how you feel. I felt that way too. But we found, or I found, or a member of my team found, because again, the objection might be, you know, my husband would never go for this. You know, I understand that, you know, my husband, and you know, be honest, my husband wasn't very supportive in the beginning until he started seeing paychecks coming through. Or one of the consultants on my team, she had an issue with her husband not being supportive, but boy, when she started, you know, helping out the family budget, it really made a difference. So does that help? So I understand how you feel. This person felt that way too, and this is what they did. You know, ask permission to offer them more solutions if you think that is helpful. Now, the next thing you can do is respond with clarifying questions. This is your opportunity to provide some information or some insight that can help the person you're talking to find a solution. So let's look back at something we talked about. I don't have enough time to be a consultant or to host a party. You know, again, you might say, it sounds like you're a busy person. Are you concerned that you wouldn't have time to do a good job? Then they might say, yes, I don't like to do things if I can't do them well. You know, and that's a real concern for a lot of people, aren't they? Have you ever met a perfectionist before? Is anybody on here a perfectionist?
But I've met some.
You've met some, yeah. But again, you know, this is real, and this is, you know, you might say, well, I hope I haven't given you the wrong impression of the time commitment. How much time do you think it takes to do a good job with this business? Would you agree that a lot of people think that, you know, to be a Pampered Chef consultant and to make any money, you have to work 40 to 80 hours a week, right? Because a lot of times in the real world, when somebody is, you know, making a nice income, they have to work a lot of hours for it, right? It's not so true with the Pampered Chef business. You might say something like, I usually figure 3 hours for my time away at a show, and then another hour for pre-show host coaching and paperwork afterwards. How many shows would you want to do if you decided to give it a try? So when you define that for them, and they find that it's really only 4 hours for a party, and of course it's a little bit different, might be a little bit different for a virtual party, but that is helpful. many of you have heard the comment, my husband would never go for this, or I need to ask my husband? Or has anyone been asked, who babysits your kids?
Oh, God.
Has anybody ever been asked that question?
Never gotten either of those.
Your kids?
Huh?
Asked who babysits our kids?
Yeah.
Yes.
And what was your response?
I run my parties on the days that my husband has off, so that way I don't have to pay for daycare.
Okay. He's parenting, right?
Yeah, that's what he does automatically. It's what his job is.
Right. He's parenting. And I tell you what's really funny with that objection is that I remember, and I'm going to use Sue Remmels as an example. She's not on the call tonight, but Sue has been with me, 25 years now. And I remember when she first started, and she felt like she had to be there for every Band-Aid, everything, And what happened is she found that her kids just had the best relationship developed with their husband because they got to have time together. And I think it's also terrific for people that have grandkids. Their parents can take care of the kids, and they get some one-on-one time with them, and they get to develop that relationship. So I think it's just a different way to look at it. Now, have you ever heard I don't have enough money for the kid?
Yes.
What does this month say about that?
That's why I got Billy Joe's free kit.
Okay. Awesome. You might say, if someone says I don't have enough money for the kit, you might say, how much is too much for you? Maybe we can help with an option from our host program. Make sure to talk about the host, the kit option for the host. This isn't the right time for me to do this. This is a good one. Please, would you mind telling me what would make it the right time? Because a lot of times I've heard from consultants saying, I wish I would have started sooner. Do any of you wish you would have started sooner?
Yes.
So I can say, my friend Christina, who's with Pampered Chef, wishes she would have started Pampered Chef so much sooner. And I would be telling the truth, right?
Absolutely.
Excellent. So when you ask good clarifying questions and provide helpful but brief information, you allow them to find the solution to their concern. You help them process through that. You're not talking them into anything. And again, you're not being pushy. You're just helping them see what the benefits they can have that will outweigh the concerns that they have. Any questions so far? Okay. Again, ask clarifying questions with sincerity and guard not talking down to people. When you're often clarifying information, really keep it brief and simple. When you're having a discussion with people, you really want them to talk more than you. You want them, not like me tonight. You want to hear from them twice as much as you hear from yourself. You want to make it all about them. And be careful not to just regurgitate everything you love about Pampered Chef. Find out what their buttons are and then help them see the things that you love about Pampered Chef that fit that, and say, I think for you, this would be terrific, that kind of thing. This would really fit into your life. This would be great for you to do, on the nights your husband is home or isn't home or whatever. Now, the one thing you want to do again is to extend the invitation again. Do any of you have people that you feel are on the fence?
Yes.
Yes.
And you might not want to hear this from me, but you know why they're on the fence? Because you're afraid to ask questions. Okay? Feel comfortable with getting a no. We're going to talk about no in just a second, but extend the invitation again. You have helped them by walking through these questions and clarifying their thoughts to find a solution. Now it's time to see if a solution is acceptable and if they want to move forward with the decision. Does knowing that you could have a good business with just 10 to 15 hours a week make you feel more comfortable with the time commitment? Would you like to give it a try? Do you feel more confident after hearing how Beth got enough bookings even though she was new in town as well? Would you like to get started and enjoy making new friends just like she did? Does it help you to know that your entire show outline is created for you? Whether, we have the outline cards and scripts for shows. We have words for that. We also have the scripts for virtual parties. Does that help you to know that we're going to help you get started? And then wait for the information. Let them answer. Just let them answer. If you sense that they still have more concerns, ask another question. Go through that concern with them. And then you might say, is there anything else on your mind? Is there anything else holding you back? What would make it, what is holding you back? Don't be afraid to answer that question. Because you know what? If something's holding them back, whether they sign up today or they sign up tomorrow, you just want them to think of you when it comes time to sign up, or if they want to host a show. Whenever is right for you. And that's something I say all the time. I am here whenever you're ready. Okay. But then of course I keep in contact with them with the specials. In fact, that's what I've been doing this evening is keeping in touch with, responding to people about the new kit. Is there any reason why you wouldn't want to try the Pamper Chuck business? Sometimes it's great to say, when would you like your first paycheck? Actually, Pamper Chuck doesn't like us to say paycheck. They like us to say commission check. So we're going to talk a little bit about no, but I really want to know, again, the acronym is CARE. And again, it's C-A-R-E, check for understanding, acknowledge their feelings, respond with clarifying questions and information, and then extend the invitation again. And again, that has to do with whether you're booking, whether you're inviting them to join your Pamper Chuck business or not. I'd like to talk, before I go into no, I want to talk about inviting. Because let's pretend Ashley works at the cafe with me. And let's just say that Ashley came into the cafe and I had made a whole bunch of cookies. And I just left the cookies there. And she saw that, those cookies look good. And I'm like, and she doesn't take one. Why would she not take one? Because she wasn't invited to. Do you see the difference between offering the information and making the invitation? It's a two-step process, and you really do want to, complete that. Again, it's like you doing your party. You want to tell them what you're going to tell them. You're going to tell them, and then you're going to tell them what you told them. Okay? Does that make sense? I think I'm by myself. All right.
Yes, it makes sense.
All right. Let's talk about no. Okay, first of all, I think that a lot of you have been posting posts that you might have seen that I posted today about any past Pamper Chef consultants. Holy cow, we have this great special going on. Drop a heart or drop a GIF if you are a past consultant, right? Have you seen that?
Yes.
Okay. Ashley, you tried it, haven't you?
Yes.
And you've been getting some responses.
Yes.
Okay. And you know what? When I finish, I'm going to go onto Joe Pack and I'm going to post what I respond with. Maybe some of you can, if you're doing, anyone else doing that? Christina, are you doing that?
Yes, ma'am. I posted it today before you did.
Oh, you did? You beat me?
I did.
Okay. I'd love to know what you say, and I'd love to, share ideas. I know I brainstormed a little bit about what I was going to say, but of course, we might be getting some no's, right? I've already gotten a couple no's, and that's okay. There are times when what we're offering is just not what our prospect needs or wants right now. Your job is to find out if that's temporary or a permanent no thank you. Now, there are a lot of acronyms for no. Does anyone know what some acronyms for no are? Next opportunity. That's the one that always comes to my mind. Next opportunity. But you need to find out if it's no, not now, or no, not ever. So remember to, of course, be professional. Again, like I said, you know, there's always a time for them to come back and be a consultant or be a host. And you know, I always tell people, if I have a consultant that leaves the business, I'm like, I'm happy to have you in my business, whatever works best for you. I love you as a customer. I appreciate you as a host. Thank you for being part of our team. And I hope that you'll consider to come back sometime. So you want them to leave feeling good about you and, of course, feeling good about Pampered Chef. So be professional. That's being professional. Thank them for their time. Thank you for listening. Thank you for having this conversation. I really appreciated getting to know you better. I love talking about my favorite subject, which is Pampered Chef. But it sounds like right now really isn't a great time for you. May I keep in touch with you in case things change in your life? Or you could say something like, I'm wondering, are you ruling out completely the idea of being joining our Pampered Chef business? Would you like me to keep you updated on products and programs? And I find that very few people say no to that. Has that been your experience too?
I have had people flat out tell me no, they don't want information from me.
Okay. And that's okay. We're going to talk a little bit more about that. But accept a firm no graciously. I hope that you'll think of me as your consultant, and I'd be happy to provide customer updates for you. Now, you'll know that you've successfully responded to objections when you've understood the needs and the concerns of your prospect, and you'll be sure to take notes. You know, again, when you're sowing seeds, and whether they say yes or no, things change for people. I mean, I've had people sign up, 5 years after I've met them. And the thing I want you to know now, too, I've been in the business, it'll be 27 years next month. People are having kids, and the kids are growing up, and they want to start a business. The millennials love direct sales. And so I hope that I've created enough goodwill that they're going to call me when it's time. But you've helped them to identify some possible solutions to their concerns. And, and sometimes you might help them discover some things about themselves. They may discover that they do have the courage to do a Pampered Chef business. They may discover that, even if it's not the right time, that it is something that they would do eventually. So when you've ended the conversation positively with an option to follow up at a determined time frame, you're going to know whether to follow up with them as a customer, as a host, or as a new team member. So tell me, did we talk about anything tonight that has helped you? Any questions? We've got a few more minutes.
I don't have any questions, but I do know that I'm already going to watch the replay.
I'm sorry, Christina, you want to watch the replay?
I'm sorry, it was Billy Joe.
I'm sorry, Billy Joe.
Yeah, I'm already interested in watching the replay because there's some sitting here in the dark with my headache. I didn't get a notepad. So
okay. Well, I understand that. Thank you. Just feel better.
Thank you.
Ashley, did you say something? We can't hear you.
Yeah. Can you hear me right now?
Yeah.
Okay. To go with the thing that you're posting about, if you're a past Pampered Chef consultant, I've been doing another one where it's asking where are all of my stay-at-home moms.
Oh, okay.
Which I know is a good one. Because, there's a lot of stay-at-home moms that have money, but there are a lot of stay-at-home moms who don't have money. That's why they're a stay-at-home mom.
Mhm.
They can't afford daycare for all their kids, and
they've made the choice to, to do
Yeah.
without an income. They made a sacrifice. Yeah.
right.
And again, I think that's a really great way to really compliment someone that's staying at home. I understand it takes a big sacrifice for you to be able to stay home with your kids. And Pamper Chip provides a real way to create income. I love the words create income. We do create income. We help people create income, right? Exactly. Anyone else? Any comments? Any objections that you've heard that you don't know how to respond to? I'd be happy. I'd love to work those out with you.
I got one. All my other parties I've had have failed. Nobody seems interested. My friends don't support it.
Okay. You might say, well, listen, do you mind talking about that a little bit? I'd love to, I mean, if you're really interested in having a party, if you really like to have Pamper Chip products, I'd love to talk with you a little bit about that. Because if she's not been a host with you before, you're completely different than any of those other people. And everybody likes to cook and eat, right?
Right.
And again, there are some of these things, and I'm going to say that when you hear the same objection over and over, and this is an example that comes up to me. At my parties, I say at my shows, tonight, we take Visa, MasterCard, Discover, or American Express. If you'd like to write a check, please make the check out to me, Karen Josephus. There is a $5.25 shipping and handling charge, and we add that to our product before we calculate tax, because Governor, whatever her name is, Gretchen, wants us to do it that way. So I don't get at the end of my show, oh, do you charge tax on the shipping? I've made it an issue so that I don't get that question. So it's what we call bragging the objection. When you hear the same thing over and over, it's like if you're training something and you find that people aren't getting it, you have to change how you're training it. And I forget why I went there, but so just, pay attention to those. Any other objections? I'm hoping that you're feeling more confident with your objections. And don't let them stymie you. Practice, it really is a matter of practice, you guys, because again, you're going to get the same one over and over again. And of course you want to listen to the person, but the thing is you're going to have suggestions for them. Now, what I really want to mention to you too is that we were talking a little bit about no. Next opportunity. But there's something we call go for no. And I think I'm going to post another go for no thing. How many of you have had go for no training?
I have.
Mm-hmm.
Billy Joe, you have?
Briefly.
Yeah. Okay. Who else has?
We did it at the beginning when I first started.
Okay. Yep. Did you watch the video, Christina?
I don't know.
Okay.
I wouldn't say I did, but I don't.
Okay.
I had a rough couple of months, so.
Yeah. Well, you know what the thing about it is that if you search on the Joe Pack under the search button, and you put in "go for no," there's a video. And actually, you could also do it through YouTube. And I can't remember their names, but it's very effective. It's very effective training. And the book is terrific, but I think the video is about a half hour on Joe Pack. And the thing is the theory is, if you want to book a couple of parties, you're going to make a couple of phone calls, and maybe it will take you 6 phone calls, and maybe it will take you 10 phone calls. And if you say I'm going to book 2 parties, then you stop, right? But what happens if you're counting no's? When you're counting no's, you're just going to keep going. And you're going to find that you're going to find that you have a rhythm that every 4th or 5th no, you're going to get a yes. And it actually kind of become a game, because you can say, I'm going to get 20 no's tonight. And, and no matter what happens, you keep at it until you get that. So I really encourage you to look for that Go for No training. And maybe I'll repost it so that it's there for you. Now, tell me what you think about having a TNT night every Tuesday. Do you like that idea?
I do. I think it'll help keep me motivated.
Okay. So I think that next week I'm going to actually be taking a class at 9 o'clock. And there are some different twists on helping new consultants get started very quickly and very successfully. Does that sound interesting to you?
Yes.
Okay. Well, we're going to talk. That's a subject that's going to be next week. I'm not sure exactly what the title is going to be, but we're going to talk about that next week. And again, I want you to remember that if your business isn't where you want it to be, you could be new. Tomorrow you wake up and it's all new. And I really encourage you to just have that determination and that persistence to make your business what you want it to be. And I know that you can do it, and just let us know. I also want you to know that if you're part of the Disney Bound group who has decided they want to earn Disney, I want you to private message me, and because I'm going to have a present for you guys that attend these trainings as part of the Disney Bound. I mean, these trainings are helpful no matter what you want from your business, but for those of you who are really making Disney a goal, please let me know and private message me, because I want to make sure I reward you and recognize your efforts. Okay. And again, and also let me know. Please feel free to post in one of the events a topic you might like to hear. Okay. But I'm excited about helping everybody get started with a great schedule. So Ken, thanks for coming. I hope you learned something, and I look forward to seeing you next week.
As always, thanks for the information, Karen.
My pleasure. Feel better, sweetie.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, Karen.
Bye, bye. Bye, sweetheart.
Bye.
I see a little one back there. Bye.